when I work with clients one-on-one is pulling their partner's chart, because then we can learn our partner in a different way.
Hannah Schwoerr is a holistic business coach, third sacral manifesting generator who helps entrepreneurs and business leaders silence their inner critic along with their unique design and achieve peak performance. Using tools like human design, cycle alignment, and Soma Plus IQ breathwork, she guides her clients into unraveling the pattern keeping them stuck and tapping into deep wisdom into what their bodies already hold. Because when we move in sync with our true nature, success flows with ease.
And when I learned my human design and then my partner's human design, it almost gave me that click. Oh, that's just not how they move through their day. So learning that about your partner can be very supportive in creating this day-to-day how we relate to each other. And again, more ease in the bedroom too.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Libido Lounge. I'm so excited to bring our guest today, Hannah, up because we're going to talk about something that we really haven't talked about, especially not in quite this way. We're going to talk about performance. We're going to talk about performance across the board, in the bed, in life, in work, in everything you do, right? And Hannah is an expert in that. And we're going to tie this all down to some of your archetypes, some of the ways that you show up in the world and why you do things the way that you do. All of that can actually impact your relationships and can impact your time with your partner and in the bedroom and so much more. So here to help us with this amazing conversation and help you get your love and intimate lives back on track, I have Hannah with me today. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diane. I'm so excited to have this conversation and weave in relationships into the parts of my business that I absolutely love. So very excited for this conversation. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. It will be so yummy. And I think let's start just kind of big picture. What is human design? It's like, I know you and I talked a little bit offline and I know it enough in myself to know what I am in the human design world, but that's about as far as my knowledge goes. And I think a lot of people have not heard about that. So I think let's talk about this, but let's also talk about, the concept of archetypes in general and what archetypes are and how that influences not only growth, but how that influences us in the bedroom and in relationships. And then talking about the uniqueness of the human design system. So can I open the floor up to you with that big mouthful to unravel for us?
Yes, absolutely. I love the word that you're using, archetypes. I don't use that too much in my lingo, so that's a really beautiful invitation as well. So let's start with human design. Human design is a system that is your unique blueprint, your energy, how your energy was created to flow through this world, how you were created to most easily walk through this world. And that includes how you show up in your business, how you show up in your relationships, whether that's a intimate partner, whether that's your family or your friends. It includes how you show up for yourself. All of the things is wrapped up in human design. And there's different pieces of human design that are maybe a little bit more helpful to understand in relationships, let's say. So maybe we'll get there. But human design generally pulls from different, more Eastern philosophies is how I like to explain it. So it pulls from the chakra system, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, astrology, quantum physics, and it is taking in all this information and kind of gives you what's called a body graph chart and your chart. And there's a lot of different areas of human design. So I started with astrology. So I kind of equate it to astrology. It's kind of like astrology plus. But if you are familiar with astrology, you'll know that there's more than just your sun sign. So there's more than just your human design energy type. When you share my introduction, I'm a manifesting generator. I believe you're a manifesting generator too, right?
I am. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So there's these energy types, there's profiles in human design, there's authorities, and all of these different areas show us different aspects of ourself. And I really want to be, when we're talking about archetypes and we're talking about human design, I want to preface this entire conversation with, we are not putting ourselves in a box with human design. We're not using this as a label to shrink us. What human design is to me, the gift of human design, is that we have this opportunity to find confirmation and affirmation in what we already know about ourselves. And it's that extra bit of information. And this is my one line, my personality really coming out. I really love information. I love, when I had you on my podcast, I love definitions. I love data. So human design is that data that we can then process ourselves, interpret ourselves, and feel into, does this feel aligned with me? Does this feel like something that is me? Like, does it fit me? And for me, a lot of learning my human design was this huge permission slip of, oh my gosh, okay, so this is actually who I am. How I was acting maybe when I was a kid or years ago, that maybe at one time somebody said something and it made me question myself or doubt myself or shame or guilt or judge myself. Now I have that permission slip of, oh, this is me. Okay, I'm almost like allowed. I'm allowed to be this way. And you're giving yourself that permission slip, not human design. So let me be clear. It's through the lens of human design. So when we're talking about archetypes, we can kind of use these energy types and call them archetypes. In human design, we call them energy types. There's 5 main energy types. You have a generator, manifestor, manifesting generator, projector, and reflector. And just like the feminine archetypes tell us this different energy, kind of educate us on this different information of maybe personality traits. We could also use that lingo. Your human design energy type is how your energy is created to move through the world. And it really is this permission slip of how you're created to be. And it's going to be different if you're a projector versus a manifesting generator, or a generator versus a reflector. And it's all information that we can use to learn ourselves. And then actually what I really love doing when I work with clients one-on-one is pulling their partner's chart, because then we can learn our partner in a different way than them telling us things about themselves, right? It's kind of like learning their astrology too. It's not to use it as, oh, this is definitely how they are. It's just a different flavor of information, another menu that we can look at. And then we can look at how these archetypes or these energy types, not the compatibility. I'm not a compatibility person. Like, oh, projectors and manifesting generators are not compatible. That's not it at all. It's how the energy can most easily flow in the relationship. So then we're, again, creating this relationship with ease, and we're living this relationship with the most ease possible.
So, for our listeners, you guys have probably heard me talk about libido codes on here before, which are basically our libido love languages. So, the concept of the libido codes, for those of you that have taken my quizzes, that we have these certain ways that we come to this earth with, like you're talking about human design here. And these codes can tell us something about like our turn ons, our turn offs, our partner's turn ons, our partner's turn offs. So I know I've kind of educated and prepped people in this podcast around, hey, this is so important because this is going to help you understand, like, oh, if your partner's doing X, Y, Z, this might be like them trying to turn you on, and like you might be missing the cues, and like it's really, really helpful to know this about each other. So with that being said, Hannah, my question for you here is like, with human design and how you're describing it and these different, what did you call them? That you don't call them archetypes, some
Energy types.
Energy types. So with these different energy types, when people figure out like, okay, well, I'm this way and my partner's this way, what different areas? Because what I hear in that to help people out is like, oh, when you learn about this, now you have ways of saying like, okay, well, this is how I am in the world, and this is how my partner's in the world. I have to take a break from what we were just talking about because I'm so excited to introduce you to a couple of my favorite toys on the market. Because one of the things I really, really am passionate about when it comes to sexual health, pleasure, passion, is not only those things, because those are very important, but it's also helping you find ways to deeply heal. And this is why I love the company Mystery Vibe so much, because their products I've seen to do just that. So I'm going to tell you about a couple of these. I have a product for women and a product for men here. So this is the female product. This is called the Crescendo 2. You will have links in the show notes. You will also get discounts on this. If you use the code Libido20, you will get discounts on this product. And what's so cool about this product from a pleasure standpoint, and then we're going to talk about a health standpoint, but from a pleasure standpoint, look what I can do with this product. It is so bendable. So it has all of these hinges where you can bend it in all of these different ways. And what that's allowing you to do is be very specific around which part of the interior of the vagina, G-spot, etc., that you are going to access and stimulate. Now, what internal studies have shown on this particular product is that it increases arousal about 73% and lubrication up to 93%. So that's where I'm talking about, hey, we can get all of this uniqueness of pleasure. We can pinpoint those spots. We can wake up our vagina in ways that maybe other vibrators can't, because you can't get the level of maneuverability and flexibility that you can with this toy. And all of that, and then you can also see in many people an increase in arousal and lubrication for that deep healing component. Also, another product that Mystery Vibe has for women that also has been shown to improve arousal as well as lubrication is called the Libido. I will also put a link in the show notes about that. It's a cock ring that vibrates the entire vulva. It's phenomenal. So also look for that. Again, the code you're looking for is Libido20 for that discount. And now for all the gentlemen watching. So this is the Tenuto 2. So this toy is amazing because it has been researched to improve erections by double. So erections get better, performance gets better, and it can help with prostate health. So it's a super easy toy to use. It looks a little bit strange when you're looking at it, but all you're gonna do is you're gonna just do penile insertion right here. This back part will sit back on the perineum, and voila, there you go. So again, Libido20 for this. If you guys want better erections, if you want to be harder longer, if you want to please your partner longer, and women, if you want to have a better arousal, better lubrication, and wake up those parts of your vagina so that not only are you experiencing more pleasure, more passion, better orgasms in many cases, but you are also deeply healing yourself as well. So again, those will be in the show notes. I hope you take advantage of these discounts and the coupon codes there. Libido20 is your coupon code. I will see you all in a moment as we get back to our show.
A quick word from our sponsors before we continue with the episode.
Ladies, midlife isn't a crisis. It's a power move. On the Mature Allure podcast, we're flipping the script on aging, beauty, wellness, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sherry O, here to keep it real, fun, and fearless. Ready to embrace every chapter? Hit play on Mature Allure wherever you listen to podcasts.
Midlife your way, that's Mature Allure.
And now we can maybe understand each other a little bit more. We can be back on the same team because we understand each other. So like in what areas of life is my question, like where like my libido code, that's really focused so much on like turn-ons and turn-offs. What areas of life have you seen when we're talking about relationships and couples? Have you seen more specifically this methodology be supportive with?
That's a great question. So the thing that I immediately think of is it's kind of that day-to-day, how you navigate life, how you're walking through your days, maybe how you're scheduling your days, how many things you're planning in your days. So I'm going to give you an example because that makes the most sense. Probably two of the more different energy types, more opposing energy types would be a manifesting generator and a projector. And I'm going to give that example because I have dated projectors before. So it's a personal example, myself as a manifesting generator. So Manny Gens, we like to have our hands in different pots. We like to spin different plates. Sometimes we like to do multiple things at once. That in my life shows up as having multiple jobs, having multiple interests. Even in my business, I don't just do human design. I also do cycle work, which is like our moon and our menstrual cycle. And then I also do somatic breath work. So to me, I'm like, that's pretty much the most classic Manny Gen energy that you can get. Projectors do really well with more rest. So fitting less into their day, creating space to clear their own energy, creating space in their day to kind of digest all of what they're going through. They might be more interested in kind of compartmentalizing maybe one thing and then the next thing, moving on to the next thing. So when I've dated projectors in the past, one of the most classic examples that I can think of is my schedule is always wild. I just always I have a podcast, I have a breathwork client, I have a breathwork group class, I have a cycle client, I have a different job. So my schedule is always moving, and my projector relationships have always been like, I just can't keep up with your schedule. And before learning human design, it was almost a little bit frustrating to me because I'd be like, I told you, why are you asking me what I'm doing today? I already gave you my schedule like 3 days ago for today. Why can't you keep up with my Monday schedule, even though my Monday schedule is different this Monday than last Monday and different what it'll be than the following Monday? And they couldn't really keep up is the language that I'm going to use. And when I learned my human design and then my partner's human design, it almost gave me that like click. Oh, that's just not how they move through their day. And we can only see through our own lens, right? Until maybe we get this illumination. So how they move through their day is maybe a little bit more scheduled. At least this projector that I dated, he was pretty scheduled. He did the same thing. He came home at the same time every night, like pretty routine. And that's not every projector, but I'm just giving this example. So that's one way is we can learn we can see another perspective of maybe how our partner processes information, moves through information. Also, when we're talking about relationships and libido, or just maybe we'll say libido, projectors need a little bit more rest. So if a projector is living in burnout, maybe they're not feeling so much like after a really long day, getting right into the bedroom. Maybe they need a little bit of a break, maybe not even with you. Maybe they just need 20 minutes by themselves in the bedroom, doing their own thing, or maybe taking a shower, doing something relaxing, and then coming together. So learning that about your partner can be very supportive in creating this day-to-day how we relate to each other. And maybe it's just these small shifts that we make that will then create more clarity. And again, I'm going to say it again, ease, but more ease in the bedroom too, because they might just need a little space. They might be, or, Manny Gens, maybe we really like to experiment in the bedroom more than a projector does. Like there's different things that we can learn about our partner in that respect too.
Yeah, there's so much great stuff here, Hannah. I mean, I really feel like, so many people, I think are aware of like, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and we know some of our innate gender differences. We know type A versus type B. It's like some of what I was thinking about when you're talking about these different, like, oh yeah, Manny Jenny, it's like definitely they're like the type A's of the world, more from a tendency perspective. But, what I think is so unique about the human design is it's giving us a lot more detailed information. So it's really easy to say like, oh yeah, they're type A, they take on a million things and go mile per minute. But from a standpoint of what I'm hearing here, it sounds like there's so much more capacity to understand, like on a much more like microscopic level, like, oh, this is why they respond that way in this situation. This is why they have a need after a long day to do this. And I think it's just a different lens in where it's like when we're talking about relationships and communication and all these foundational things, the more that we actually understand our partner and kind of like how they're wired, the better. So let me ask you this, like, do you find with human design and thinking about how we're wired and like do you find that this changes over life? Can somebody be a projector and turn into a manifesting generator? And and I ask this in part because I am sure there's people listening. It's like, oh yeah, like I really had things down with my wife and we were talking great and things were great, and there's just like all of a sudden they change and they just like want different things and they want communication to be different. And we just, oftentimes I think check that up to say like, well, we're all growers and like, we all change at some point. And this is where we grow and evolve as humans. But I'm wondering if human design has anything to say to like to that around like, can somebody, is this more like the energy type we're born into? Or is it like, yeah, we're born into this, but there are things that can actually make us one day decide that if we're, a manifesting generator, that we could become a projector?
That's a great question. So the short answer is we don't change energy types. Nothing changes, just like your astrology is not going to change over time. Maybe your astrology readings are going to change over time, but I'm always going to be a Leo, just like I'm always going to be a manifesting generator. However, our interests, the lens in which we see the human design information is going to change because we are constantly evolving. Every 7 years, right? We completely regenerate. That's true for everyone on a biological level, but I'm always going to be a manifesting generator. What I would say is probably the most important thing to note here is that conditioning plays a huge role. So who we are in contact with, the other energy types we're in contact with, is very much going to influence us. So again, with the projector, my mom is actually also a projector and my dad. So I was raised by two projectors. So I always kind of, this is how I explain it in my head, is like I have a very projector-ish manifesting generator energy, like a very projector-influenced manifesting generator, because I was raised by two of the same, but they're a different energy type than myself. So if you're dating currently, or you could, I don't know if it's possible to somehow look up your ex's human design if you know their birth information. You can look at maybe you're a manifesting generator and you dated a manifesting generator, or maybe you're a generator and you dated a manifester, and seeing how your energy had shifted within that relationship. We talk about we become like the 5 people we hang out the most with. That's on an energetic level too. It's not just a personality trait or a characteristic trait. So if you're hanging out with the other energy types, which chances are you at least know somebody else that's some other energy type, notice how your energy is affected. We've really only focused on the energy types because that's kind of the biggest piece of human design. But we have these energy centers, which represent our chakra system, and we have them either colored in or not colored in. And that's defined or undefined is the terminology in human design. And when we come in contact with somebody, like we have an open energy center, let's say our head chakra, or it's called your crown energy center in human design, and also in astrology, in the chakra system. But if my head was undefined and yours was defined, the way that our energy meshes is going to be different than if I had a defined head and you had a defined head. And when we have an open and then a defined, so again, if yours was undefined, mine was defined, my energy is almost like permeating your openness. Your openness is almost like a mirror, and it's reflecting and bringing that energy more into our dynamic. And we have a sacral center too. So when we talk about the sacral chakra, like the passion and the pleasure and all of that, again, there's not a good or bad. That's not how I want you to think about it. But the flavor in which we interact with, if we're defined and our partner is defined versus our partner is undefined and we're defined, is going to be different.
Yeah, makes so much sense. And I just see such a huge amount of value for people on this. So I really hope everybody will go and take a human design test. They can take it directly online, correct?
Yes. Yep. You literally just Google free human design chart.
Okay. Take it, talk to your partner about it. And I hope you will all join us for part 2. In part 2, I'm going to be asking Hannah questions like, how do you talk to your partner about this? Are there things that you need to be watching out for? Are there ways that you can talk in a way that would make it so like somebody feel, retracted versus like open. So we want to explore all of that. We're going to also explore things like libido and how we can use human design to strengthen our libido, since libido is often low. How can we can use human design to just feel more powerful in our body, and so much more. So I hope you will join us for part 2. Before we say wrap it up for part 1, just tell us real fast, if you would, how do people get a hold of you? If people want to work with you on exploring human design in more detail, how do they do that?
Yeah. So the place that I hang out the most is my Instagram, which is _journey to well, which is my business is Journey to Well. So reach out on there. I also do one-on-one human design chart readings. So if you pull up your chart and you get overwhelmed, that's totally normal. Reach out and book a call and we can walk through your human design chart so it feels very approachable and not overwhelming, because that is not the point of human design, to overwhelm you. But yes, definitely hang out at Journey to Well.
Perfect. And we will have all those links below this video. Hope to see you all in part 2. And thank you, everybody, for being here on another episode of The Lounge. Thanks, Hannah, for joining us. We'll see you all real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Libido Lounge. Please don't keep me a secret. Please share this with your friends. You can find me on YouTube, on Instagram, as well as how to work with me at mylibidodoc.com.